Done by Noon podcast, episode number 14. Today we're going to talk about how to build strong and long-lasting relationships.
You're listening to the Done by Noon podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs who want to achieve more by noon than others in a full day. Serial entrepreneur Dave Ruel and his co-host Chris Lopez share the strategies that will help you optimize your productivity, performance, and lifestyle so you can reach new heights in your business and life. So if you're ready to become the most efficient and effective entrepreneur you know, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show.
This episode is brought to you by the Done by Noon book, the ultimate guide to achieve more by noon than other entrepreneurs in a full day. As a listener of the Done by Noon podcast, you can grab a free copy of the book at www.donebynoonpodcast.com/free book. But hurry, we've only printed a few thousand copies of this book, and when they are gone, they're gone. Once again, you can claim your free copy of the Done by Noon book at www.donebynoonpodcast.com/free book. Now, back to Dave and Chris.
Back to me and you.
Back to me and you.
Is that the way, is that the sound we're going to make now? We're going to sprinkle sea salt on our chocolate ice cream.
Oh, yes. I love that.
I love it.
Let's do it. I love it.
Oh, man, I miss hanging out. I miss hanging out with you, man.
I know, man. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, that's a good segue for our topic today because,
Right.
The thing, we're going to talk about relationships, how to build strong and long-lasting ones. And, it's a good segue from last week too, when we talked about, sustainability and, that, your great launch that you had was the result of your years being friends with Rusty, but also what you've built over time and the relationships, not only with him, but with your readers and people who follow you.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, that's the thing. We've known each other forever. In internet years is probably equals to 173 years or something like that.
Yeah.
But we don't see each other that often. It's actually, I was thinking about it, and with COVID, with everything else, it's been a while.
I think the last time was in Toronto, right? When we did that quasi mastermind at that co-working space. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a couple of years already, but yet it feels like, that's the thing about great friendships, Chris, is that every time we see each other or we talk to each other, it feels like, it's like we're just catching up from yesterday. I don't know. It's a good, in my opinion, it's a good gauge to establish if you have a strong relationship with someone. It's when you can not see each other for quite a while and actually just catch up like nothing happened.
Oh, I feel the exact same way. It's like what I call a very low maintenance friendship. And I have,
oh yes,
I'm lucky enough because it's funny because so my daughter's 22 and AJ, and she's here with us in Costa Rica right now. And she was talking about how if she doesn't speak to her quote unquote best friend, once a week or twice a week, then her best friend gets very, just very put off and becomes and for me that's a high relation or high maintenance friendship, and it's difficult, right? Because we all have different things going on in our lives, and so we need people that understand or that have that understanding. And so friendships with people like you, or you and I have a mutual friend named Adam, and so it's with somebody like Adam or even Brad. Those are guys that I can just call on at the drop of the hat, and I know that they'll be there for me. Mm-hmm. So it's
yeah. But it's that's what we were starting to talk last week, is that you don't I think a lot of people are just they want to have great relationships with people, let's say, especially when entrepreneurs or even people who want to I would say widen their circles of people or the quality of people they want in their lives. And they try to be way too intentional, with their relationship. They just come in with kind of an agenda.
Yep.
And you can sense that from miles and miles away, especially when you come to an age, for us, we're in almost you're in your 40s, I'm almost in my 40s, but it's like we're very, I don't know about you, but I'm very specific on, like, or I'm very selective on the amount, first of all, the amount of people, but second, the quality of people that I want in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I think the best ones, the best relationships that you can have are the ones that you actually never really plan for or don't have any like expectations
Yep.
about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like what I was saying is, I mean, it's like a low maintenance type of friendship. I think being able to develop that and be able to nourish relationships like that, it also comes with experience as well. I think one of the, your radar goes up whenever somebody tries to be friends with you, and you try to see everybody in the best possible light. But when one of the biggest things for me, almost like a red flag for me, is like when somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, how you doing? How can I help you?"
Oh,
it's like,
do you receive these emails like always, like
all the time, man? What can I do for you? Tell me, how can I help you? And it's like, dude,
how can I be of value?
Yeah,
how can I add value?
Yeah. How can I add value to your life or whatever? And it's like,
just the fact that you ask, tell me that, and that, like, I think, and you hear that advice all the time from people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you want to build relationship with people, just ask them, how can you, add value to their lives? Yeah, well, obviously, but, I don't want an ass kisser or want something in return, because that's not the way I approach relationships. Like, I don't approach relationship because I want something from them. And I know that if I do X, Y, and Z, I might get, I will want to ask something later down the road. Right. If you approach relationships like that, like, you need to reconsider, like, go in an optics that, like, in 100% giving way, because from there, like, when you need your friends, like real friends, like, they will help you 100% of the time whenever they can. You know what I mean? They don't need that. They don't need to wait from you, that they need to have received something very specific from you in order to exchange. You know what I mean? They will just give. So, yeah. And I know, and often, like, that's funny, man, because, like, for us, for example, like, we knew each other from business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way we met each other. But we realized that, like, actually, we rarely talk about freaking business.
No, I know. Yeah. What do we talk? We talk about hockey. We talk about sports. We talk about the families and how everybody's doing. Like,
we talk about our daily activities, or everything that is not new. We're going to talk about business, but I mean, most of the thing that I would say, the values, why I think we've built, like, such great relationships, and you and I with other friends too, is I think is the exchange of values.
Yeah.
Like, not the value, but the values.
Yeah.
See, like, because like for me, for example, the fact that you were a family man, that you had all, like, your million kids, and that you were managing your family, like the way you were as a husband and as a father, for me, that was like, I really like this guy. This is exactly, like, he has the same values that I have. And, like, I want him to, I want him as, like, he's, I understand him. I feel like we understand each other. Like, we have the same set of values, when it comes to that. And for me, that was very important.
Yeah.
Like, when we met, and then obviously over time, it just became obvious that, I really like this person. Like, and we're going to do, and we never, like we said last time, we never ever did anything, like, together for work. Like, we promoted each other back in the days, like, with promotions and things like that, but we never really collaborated much. I think, like, the podcast is the first thing we've been doing together.
Yeah, I mean, because there was never anything underlying there. There was never an opportunity for us to do it. And then with the podcast is perfect because it's like what you said. Like, you and I share the same type of values, and so what we do with DBN, what we do with Done by Noon, is very much how you and I both live our lives. So why not do something together in this realm? It just fits, right? It became very organic, and I think a lot of times, especially in business, people approach relationships very inorganically, and they try to force relationships or force friendships or do something in that sense, because they want, there's some type of underlying or ulterior motive behind their intentions. So I think you really need to just try to be friends with people first, and try to find common ground in that sense if you want to, if you want a relationship that'll last, for life, and eventually maybe something will come out of it. But don't go in with the expectation that I have to do business with this person, so let me see how I can, do something for them. That way they feel connected to me, and then,
if that was quantified by the amount of dollars that someone put in my pocket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would be friends with a lot of people that I don't really like much.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I'm serious. Yeah. Like I like, not that I don't like, but that I don't really share maybe the same values or the same vibe. I don't know. Like, totally. I have some professional relationships that stay professional just because they are meant to be professional. There's an exchange of value, maybe not of values. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important to understand that at some, and it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, you can build long-lasting relationships based on value in a professional context.
Yep.
But in a personal context, like, I think the values, the sharing of values is what's important. And when you can mix both, this is I feel like this is really the golden, like, this is like the best you can have. If you can have like a friend that you share values with, and then that you share values and value too, this is just like, that becomes fun. Now this is where it becomes super fun.
I mean, and people can see it. Like, I'm sure people can hear it when you and I are talking and we're having conversation. Like, we're talking about our families. You can tell that we know each other very well. It's not some type of contrived, forceful type of conversation where, we're going from a script or whatever. We're actually speaking off the cuff, and we're speaking about there was authentic experiences.
The few first episodes where we needed like getting a little bit more technical on things, like, because a lot of people like start listening to the podcast and read, because they read the book and they read the podcast, and, we give, a little bit of tips and things like that. But other than that, like, this podcast is really going to be about understanding, how to add more to your, life and business in general. But yeah, I think you're right, 100%. It's very, very organic. That's funny. Like, everything that we've done so far, you and I, like, and even the ideas, it's so organic. It's just that everything is just, chill. So, and there's no secret. You know what I mean?
No, there's not.
There's just lessons to be learned, overall, but there's no secret to it. I feel like we all come from, and we use our personal example, but that's the case with, other of our friends. That's the case with, my wife and some of her friends too. I mean, it doesn't come from a place of need or place of, expectations. That's what I really like, about it.
Yeah. No, it's very authentic that way. Well, okay, so let me ask you this question then. We've got a lot of listeners who are in business for themselves, and there are probably relationships that strategically would benefit them. So if somebody were to want to get into business with you or do something with you, Dave, what would be the ideal way for them to approach you? Or how would you approach somebody if you knew that there was a relationship there, but at the same time, you knew that they shared the same values with you?
Well, let's get to know each other.
Right.
It's like, let's shake hands. I really hate the cold outreach, like the canned messages saying like, "Oh, I've been following your work," and and like the too flattering emails that, you can smell like they want something in return. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, just build a relationship. Go add me on Facebook. Like, comment on my stuff. Like, let's crack a couple of jokes. Sense of humor is huge for me, for example. So if you know me, you know that you need a great sense of humor, and we need to share a good sense of humor together if we're to be friends for a long time. Because, like, we've been together with, you and our friends, and it's just, it's hilarious. Most people will probably not find it hilarious. They find us weird. But for us, like we share the same sense of humor.
It's that
right?
dry Canadian humor.
Well, it's not dry. It's full of delicious bacon.
That's right.
And sea salt and chocolate ice cream.
And peanut butter.
Obviously, always. But it's very important, right? So in order to build that type of relationship, you need to, I don't know, like get to know each other. I've built my way with I thought we talked about John Goodman last year, but John Goodman and I, like we just exchange. We've known each other from the online world, and we talk for on Facebook for a while and exchange messages and crack jokes at each other on comments before actually meeting in real life. And when we met in real life, I'm like, yeah, I like this dude, and we became friends that way.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like I was asking anything from him or anything like that. We actually never did any. I think I promoted John once. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I see it. So to build a relationship takes time. I think short-sighted, especially nowadays with like the outreach and the fake interest from people that that they like sound interested in what you do, but they're not. They're just here because they want something. They want to be a guest on your podcast, or I get that all the time now. I get actually people like outreach, like I'm getting people some outreach from people to become guests on our podcast.
Yep.
It's like, well, we're not taking guests now, and who are you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know you. Why would I like to promote your new book and your course? Like, I don't even know. We're gonna have guests, but it's somebody that I know. It's people that I trust, that I understand. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for an exchange of value. You know what I mean? That's not what it's for. So yeah, I think that's the way to. And honestly, like I'm very now. I mean, there's some, here's the thing. There's some relationships now. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of my existing relationships that I'm okay now if they're not like strong. Like, some people at some points that we were like, good friends and great friends and,
right.
And at one point you're like, I don't know, life happens and you're not.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm okay with it. Like, I don't care. It doesn't mean that I don't like the person. It means that, hey, why would I spend that much time trying to understand, keep a relationship strong if I know that, hey, naturally, we're just not.
Totally hear what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that happen to you? Do you have like relationships like that you saw like kind of fizzle, let's say, over the past?
Oh, for sure. Years? I mean, it's like all of the people like I went to high school with. I know all the people that I went to high school with are still friends with each other. And it was just one of those things where our values were just different. We had evolved into different people, and it was one of those things where, and it's like what you said, there was no malice behind it. There was nothing. It was just that
it just happened.
Yeah. Like we just didn't have the same type of, we just didn't have the same values, the same interests that we did anymore. Anyway. So it's like what we said in the last podcast where, it just, as much as friendships can develop and should develop organically, friendships can, you can lose friendships or like they start to fizzle out organically as well. And that was exactly what happened with a lot of the people that I went to high school with. I think I keep in touch with maybe one of my closest friends from high school, and that's it.
And they can be long lasting too. They just don't need to be strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think that's the thing. Like, I mean, and some people, and I think most people will get it though. They're like, I think some people won't. I think some people just like, like your daughter and her friends she doesn't talk to in 2 days, and they just like, but for most people, like every time I'm going to see, like it happens with a few of my friends, over the past few years, and if we see each other and we talk to each other, it's like, hey, we're still friends, but it feels like we can tell that relationship is not strong, but that's fine. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that we can't be friends. That means like, hey, life happens. So sometimes we just spend too much time trying to keep a relationship strong, where honestly, like it just should be a long lasting relationship, but not necessarily like a strong one, right? And I think the more you evolve in life, the more you realize like which ones you want strong relationships with, you know. And in business, and the same thing as I said in business, like some people are going to be strong business relationships, some are going to be, you know, personal ones. And but you gotta be comfortable, I guess, with it. You know what I mean? I feel like people maybe put too much pressure on themselves to maintain things. I feel like strong and long lasting relationships don't need that much maintenance. Like it's very I think the lower maintenance the relationship is, the stronger it is.
Very nice. I like the way you put that. Yeah.
Is it quotable?
That's quotable. Yeah. Let's make a sound card. Let's make a card out of that.
You know, I got one of my friends actually moved to Europe a long time ago, and we barely see each other. I think it's over the past 20 years. I might have seen him 3 times, but every time we saw each other, like it feels like we just caught up. And the last time it had been 9 years, and we just caught up. Just sat down, shut the shit. And we did not like, you know, the kind of relationship where all you have to do, like, I think that's a good indicator if you can see that it's a good, strong relationship versus like one you just maintain for the sake of it.
Yep.
Is that we didn't actually talk about, the good old days.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about the present and the future.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't talk about the past.
Yep. I have a friend like that. He's actually the only person that I still keep in touch with from high school. He's a year younger than me, but he's actually responsible for, he was friends with Roseanne, my wife. They were, he was the connector. Yeah. And it was crazy. So he and I played basketball together, and he was the connector. And so he and I still keep in touch. We visit him he lives in Sacramento. And so whenever we go to, you know, we do our yearly trip to California. So we try to go out and see him. Although that's not going to happen this year with COVID. But he is from Toronto originally. We went to high school together, and then he became a chiropractor in California. And so we go out of our way to make sure that we connect with each other. And our sons are the same age.
But I'm pretty sure like when we see each other, it's not like just talking about, you know, how things were. You know,
no, not at all.
You can have like jokes and like, you know, inside jokes and things like that, but it's not always talking about the past.
No,
because that's the only link. For most people, it's just like the only link, or with most people, that's the only link that you're going to have that's going to keep you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's not like that with him at all. I mean, he's an entrepreneur as well, so we share many common interests, and it's good. So that's the one friend that I still have that I still have maintained, and it's easy. It's like it's like with you and I. Like we won't speak to each other or see each other for a year, and then I'll be like, "Hey, we're coming into California. Can we get together?" And we'll get together, and it's just like old times. It's like old times in the sense that you're seeing an old friend for the longest time, and you miss each other, but you pick up just where you left off.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are just, you know, especially when you're an entrepreneur, or when you realize that you're on a path to evolve or change how you manage your life in general. There's still the resistance of letting go. And as I said, like, I think you have to grow comfortable with, you know, letting relationship that, hey, that's fine. It's a long lasting relationship. I've known that person for a while, but it's fine if it's not a strong one, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think you got to allow yourself that. You know, I think the more you're going to go in life, the more you detach yourself from it. That doesn't mean you stop loving the person. That doesn't mean you stop caring for the person. That means, hey, now I want to spend my time with not spend my time with a specific type of person, but this is what I want more, let's say, in my life. I want more authentic. I want more fulfilling. I want relationships that are going to make me grow. You know, I think growth, you know, you need some friends that, you know, I think like the friends that you can tag along, but you also need the friends that you're going to look up to. You know what I mean? When I see my friends like you, for example, I'm gonna like you. I look up to you a lot on the family side, on the marriage side. You know, like you're my main example. You know what I mean? When I look into, for example, creativity and innovation and business. I look at Matt Gallant, for example, who's one of my closest friends as well. And we've been in business together too, right? And we had great business together. And actually, the fact that we're in business together strengthened our personal relationship actually quite a bit. And I was in business with other people, and our relationship just didn't work out. Like actually, that happened with quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit of people, but that happened with a few people that I was involved in business with, and we were great friends, and we got in business, and it just actually fucked everything up. But I mean it has nothing to do, because that's what I just said. It's like at this point, I was not looking up to that person. You know what I mean? And then we realized that, we don't share the same values anymore. Or I thought, you know what I mean? So it was being comfortable, being like, hey, maybe this relationship is not strong and maybe not worth keeping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay. That stuff happens. That's the natural evolution of things, and it's fine.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people have that resistance. They want to keep holding on to it, And I think just let go.
I think as entrepreneurs in general, though, we all share the same type of disposition because we understand change. And I think a lot of people that hold on to that kind of thing, they're afraid of change. And so because I think entrepreneurs generally are very resilient when it comes to things like that, I think that's why we're okay with it. And I think the people that hold on are just, they might be.
I don't know. It could be.
I mean, it's a broad generalization, but
it is.
Yeah.
It is, because I know a lot of people that are just like holding on to some, I know that. I know some people are like, you know what, like just fucking move on. Like, it's okay. It's okay. What else would be a good way to build a strong, long-lasting relationship, in your opinion?
I have this saying that I've been following for a really long time, and it's always worked with me. And that's never deny a generous tendency. So it's a lot more difficult to do it here in Costa Rica just because of the logistic standpoint of everything. But for example, you and I have a friend that lives in LA, and he and I share an affinity for hip hop. And so I was out shopping one time in Toronto, and I saw this poster that I thought that he would.
Are you talking about Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw this poster. I was in Toronto, and I saw this poster that he would like. It was basically it was called the periodic table of hip hop, and it was the periodic table, but it was a bunch of like all of the rappers, like every rapper that you can possibly imagine, but like organized in the periodic table. It was really cool, and in different categories and everything. So I was like, oh my God, Jay would love this. And so it was like $20, and so Canadian. So I bought it for him. I got it framed, and then I had it boxed and then shipped to him. And he was like so grateful. He was like, I can't believe you got this for me. I was like, but it strengthened our relationship, but that wasn't my intention. It was just like, it was there. And I was like, holy cow, Jay would love this. So I picked it up for him, and that was it. And that strengthened our relationship. It wasn't my intention. It was just like, I thought of him and I saw that, and it was like, oh yeah. Like, and then, so that's one of my things is like, never deny a generous tendency.
Yeah. You can tell, like, if it's done the right. Yeah. If it's done right, you can say if it's strategic or just because you just want to give.
Right.
Yeah. It's okay. I think there's a place for both.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for both. I think like, and honestly, like, here's the thing, and I don't want people to take this like think that like just straight business relationships are bad. Like, it's not. Like, there can be great strategic relationship alliances that, it's strategic. I know it's strategic. We understand we're heading the same way. That doesn't mean we're going to spend our vacations together, but, there's something going on that, there's something that can be done together. Mm-hmm. That's fine too. I mean, as a business person, I think I encourage these type of relationships too. But I think a lot of people, like, it's when you try to make it like a strong friendship, like, be careful of who you call bro. You know what I mean? Not everybody's your real bro.
Right.
It's what, that's more my point. It's not like sometimes some relationships are, this is what it is. It's more of a professional one, and they're great and they're valid and it can be long lasting.
Yep.
But again, like when you want to build, if you're talking about good, like friendships, like that should be approached from a very giving perspective. Always.
I love that. That's really good advice, man. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Never deny a generous tendency. I mean, within reason, obviously. Like, I'd love to buy you a Tesla sometime, Dave, but that's
I'm kind of expecting that. So I'm going to be showering you with tubs of ice cream and sea salt.
You're getting better at that.
I know, man. I'm learning from the best. What I can say, dude. But also, one thing that I don't say I love you to man often, but I love you, bro. And
you and I say it a lot, though.
Yeah, exactly. And
there are a lot, and it's all like it's completely authentic. Like it's not like, hey, I love you, bro. No,
no. So I love you, bro, and it's true. It's genuine. It's authentic, and I mean, that's another gauge for me that I really like. That you're one of my close friends, and same thing with Matt Gallant and other people, like a few others. Is that it just comes naturally, and I can say that. So do the I love you test. I love you, man test. Yeah. Have you seen the movie with Paul Rudd, I Love You, Man?
No, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's like about male friendships, right? But it's the same premise, It's like, hey, it needs to come from the heart, And I don't think you would say that to someone that is just a good business friend. You know what I mean? So give the I love you test. Love you, Chris. I love you, people who are listening to the podcast, even though I might not know you, but I still love you because you're listening to us talk about friendship and everything. But I just want to know that even if we don't know each other, maybe we know each other, but if we don't know each other, I appreciate it. Like, seriously, that's one thing that I don't know, like I don't want to sound corny, but I'm getting so much more and more grateful every day to be able to speak and talk, communicate in a microphone through a podcast with you, and having people listening to us. And like, or some might hate it, that's fine. But those who appreciate it, I'm like, that's crazy. That's amazing. That's just I don't know, man. Just fills my heart.
Yep, I get it, man. Totally. I love you, bro.
Love you, bro. All right, everybody. Have a great week and stay out of trouble. Love you, bro.
Love you, bro. Bye.
You have just listened to the Done by Noon podcast. If you are interested in hearing more, do not hesitate to subscribe to our channel. Click on the 5 stars or check out our free tools and trainings at donebynoonpodcast.com. Thanks again for listening and stay awesome. We'll see you next time.